It's a beautiful day of granitarial sunshine. I don't know why, I just wanted to say that. Isn't that interesting? Hold up your hand, there's like all this gleaming stuff on it. It's pretty cool. I usually don't film videos this late in the day, and it just rained, so I think there's this weird thing happening with the sun. It's pretty cool. So the other day I was hanging out with one of my buddies, and she's into all this planetary sun stuff. It was very interesting. And so she sent me this one girl's channel. Name is Elizabeth April or something like that. So I watched a couple of her videos, and she was cool, interesting stuff. And then she said at the end of one of her videos, she said, "Alright, I gotta end this video because I gotta go be present." And she was so young, man. She was so young. She was probably, God, she was probably like 25. Very young person. And the first time I watched the video, I didn't think much of it. And then I watched the video again because I thought the video was interesting. And then I thought to myself, when I heard her say it the second time, being present is a 24-hour thing. It's within you with everything that you do. Brushing your teeth, filming a video. It's always there with you. This morning I was listening to the Dalai Lama. By the way, about 2 weeks ago, when I was in a really disturbed state because of my orange fingernails and I thought I was going to die, I said something about how my morning practice was very exhausting. And yesterday when I was listening to my morning practice, my YouTube videos on Eckhart Tolle and the Dalai Lama and myself and the guy that wrote the 5 Rings. I don't know if you ever heard of that guy. He was this Ronin that wandered the earth. And this guy did a 3-part video on him. It's a fascinating 3-part video. It's on my Disney playlist. You should listen to it if you ever want to dabble in any of my playlists. One of the first playlists on the top. And it pretty much, he talks about the Ronin Code and Buddhism, and I absolutely love his methods of living. And still to this date, 2,000 years later, they still make sense. You could apply them to your life. Because we've always gone through the same struggles. For thousands of years, we've had the same struggles. Humans always have to battle desire. We always have to battle fear. We always have to battle feeling unloved, feeling like we're not important, like we're not good enough. These are all things that we always have to battle. We've always battled them. Suffering, what to do with suffering. To use suffering as a tool to help people, to help guide people. Or to become bitter and resentful at life because you're suffering. To choose the dark path or to choose the light path. I was also listening to the Dalai Lama speak this morning, and he talked about how we feel compassion over anger, and how it's primary to feel that compassion and that love and that warm-heartedness because we were raised with that. Now, if you read my ebook or my book, you'll realize that most of us were raised in situations where we didn't feel love, and we felt neglect and neglected, and we went through trauma and abuse and control. And when you were raised like that, when you were raised in a way where you felt like you shouldn't have been born, or the people that had you rather wish they wouldn't have had you, and you feel unloved and neglected, then it's much more of a challenge for you throughout your life to create a world and approach the world as a loving, kind being with compassion, because you weren't brought into the world and you weren't raised as a child in the world of love and compassion and kindness. So you really have to put the effort in to be loving, to be compassionate, to be kind. Because when you were raised and you felt like you were unloved and neglected and you were abused and you have trauma, you may naturally see the world as well, let's just say you may, or it may be harder for you to be loving. And it may be easier for you to be angry and frustrated. Because you come from a place of hurt instead of a place of love. You were raised in childhood from a place of hurt and not a place of love. So when the Dalai Lama was talking about that this morning, I said to myself, if a person was raised in a loving home with compassion and kindness and things like that, they could understand that philosophy of being a more compassionate, loving being because they were raised with love and compassion. And I think that's one thing that those masters need to take into account, whether they're, the Dalai Lama, Buddhist masters, Hindu masters, people like that. They need to take into account the lesser half that have been raised with unfortunes. And how much strength it takes to take that child that came from neglect and unlove and abuse and trauma and control and turn that into a lesson and change themselves to be a more loving person. And by doing so, it takes a lot of strength. And you gotta study, you gotta learn things from people. You can't do it on your own. Study Taoism, Buddhism, psychology, spirituality. have a proper diet, focus on nutrition, walk, fitness, get proper sleep, surround yourself around kind, loving people. But the only way to really have kind and loving people in your life is to change yourself. Not be needy, not ask for love, to enjoy your time in solitude, just being. And once you enjoy your time in solitude, just being in stillness, then you don't really need people. It's fun to see people, you enjoy people's company, but you don't need them as much. So you can just be. And the more and more you're present, the more and more you love, and you have that love within you, and you have that humility where you dissolve the person, and there's no me and there's no I. That's when you attract the kind and loving people. But in order to get to that stage where you dissolve the me and the I, and you don't put a meaning on yourself, you don't put a word on yourself, you're just existence, and in that existence it's just love and kindness within you. Then you could really transform and dissolve the self. Where there is no me, there is no I. And you're one with existence. You're one with creation. You just sit for hours and watch birds fly in the sky. Sit and listen. Need nothing. Attain nothing. Be nothing. You just are, you're just existence. You can relate to things, you understand things. Everything slows down. The feeling of non-movement comes in. As you look at ants crawl up a branch. So, I hope you're having a great day. And Elizabeth Jennifer, or Elizabeth April, I apologize for saying what I said about you in the beginning of this program, but I just wish people would tell the truth. You know, if you're going to talk about spirituality and being present in your videos, you should have a greater understanding of what it is. Especially if that's one of your main messages and you're making money off of it. See, I make these videos, I don't make money off of them. And I don't intend to. But if it's a gimmick for you and you're affecting the lives of others, you need to step within and realize what your intentions are and why you're doing it. And if you know enough to talk about certain topics. Because everything you do affects people. Everything that you do affects people. Even what you think about and your energies, they affect people. TMI, baby. TMI. Such an interesting life. You know, if you do become extremely humble and you dissolve the self, and you become kind of a Taoist Buddhist like I've decided to be, you might have to live with people because you most likely won't have much money. And you really won't care about it. You just hear people and they're a part of life. You don't expect people to be a certain way. You don't think life should work out in your favor. You don't think life should be a certain way. You understand that life just is. And by being in the present moment, and just by being connected to everything in life, everything just seems to be okay. But you have to have a purpose or a passion. You do. Like, I love my book, and I love what it's doing for people, and I love making these videos, and I hope that they're doing things for the people that watch them, if anybody does watch them. And to just know that everything is just going to be okay. But if you're around people that make you feel icky, that are abusive, controlling, that don't make you feel okay, please go within the self and try to figure out what's going on. And then jump on YouTube and try to get some guidance for why you're involved with that person or those people. Okay, thank you so much for everything. Have a great day. Hope you're having fun. Take care. Thank you.